I need more space. I need more space. So yeah, my hair's looking crazy. It's gonna be looking good over time. But anyways. So basically, this is part two of my story. The part one is basically a recap of how these negative, unhealthy traits started to evolve within me at a young age. So about the punishments and stuff, that's how we I know many people in the family that does it, but I only can speak from my experience, you know. Um, my M was bad. She was the baddest of all. She was bad, you know. Being around her, I always wanted someone to talk to. I wanted a friend, someone to talk to and stuff. And I unknowingly started to carry on these habits, and these habits of starting to be bad out of character, my own self, but I never really understood the impact, the depth of it, How I started to find out is in elementary school, we had these card colors, I don't know if y'all had these flip card colors. Green stands for good, yellow stands for warning, and the orange stands for pink slip. Pink slip. Red stands for pink slip, but you get sent to the office and your parents get called home. And when you go to recess, you have to sit on the wall basically for the entire duration of the recess. And or the teacher, my teacher, how she does, my teacher, how she does is we have to sit on the wall, or we have to stay in the classroom while everybody's outside and the teacher's outside. Now, my room, her name was Miss Harden, my fourth grade teacher, Miss Harden. So during this time that I was here, I was in third grade. I was in third grade to fourth grade, and being with them, and these traits was still carrying on. The house was toxic. I had to deal with these toxic, and over time, the toxic traits started to be in me. So I was being a person who I wasn't supposed to be. I was implementing onto because of the people pleasing, being the scapegoat, doing things out of character just to please my cousin, doing things out of character to please the adults. The adults are easy to manipulate kids to get what they want. That's wrong. Kids don't know better because kids are still trying to find themselves, trying to have friends, and trying to do all those things. So these traits from the home carried all the way up to the school. So my room is right here in the front. So say this is the classroom, this is the front door. You walk into the classroom, then there's another classroom. This is where M, my youngest cousin, was at. So we was right next door to each other. Now T was in middle school at this time. So she would get home before us. We ride this me and M rides the same bus home and everything. So she always be mean to me, right? She'll be mean to me. They're sometimes nice to me only when she wants to be nice, or I give her something, basically. But the rest of the time, she will always be mean. Always, always. But at this time, I was trying to find friends, trying to be myself. I couldn't make friends. I actually had a cool friend. It was Peyton and Timothy. They're the only two cool friends, dudes I'll ever have and met at my young age. Any other people, boys can be jerks and stuff like that. That's how us dudes are. But my very best thing at school, we would always play soccer. It would be our class against a different class on the cafeteria at lunch. Then it would be our class against a whole different class, or our class wins. Of course, your boy was really good at soccer back then. So, in our classrooms, if it's like 6 boys, then it'll be on 3-on-3. Got one goalie on each team, the rest stays in the middle and all that stuff. That's how us boys be doing. Our boys be doing. We having fun and stuff. We only cool on the field, but in the classroom it's a different story. But it's terrible. But you know, um, so basically that's how life at school be. There's times I get in trouble, but for over the smallest things, like um, there be kids that be talking mess to me. I talk back to them, and then they go tell that I have to flip a card. I just want to get this out of my chest because this is one day that my cousin and I always somehow we always managed to be late. We was late that one day. I came to the classroom and my seat was empty, so I have to grab a chair. I grabbed my chair and I lifted up as high as I can, and then I was walking to put it my spot so I can sit down because Miss Harden was teaching. So I accidentally the chair had nicked my student that I stood next to, like on the side, but lightly. But I just came into class. And Miss Harden was like, because the kid, you know how kids be like in third grade, they be like, ow. Or they'd be like, stop doing that. I hate those kids. I don't care. I hate them who does that, bro. You do not need to make a scene. Why do you want attention that bad, bro? Anybody be like, bro, can you just stop? I'm gonna just tell the teacher, nah, stop doing that, bro. I wanted to slap kids who does that. All right, I'm getting out of the phone, but he was like, I nicked him on the side of the head, and then he was like, ow. I was like, it was just an accident. I was telling Miss Harden, but she never, she never, oh, just hear it. She never wanted to hear my explanation. She told me to flip my card, and I looked at her. I said, I just got in the classroom, and I gotta flip my card. So the thing is, for every teacher that I go to, you will hear this from other parts. Teachers dislike me, bro. Look, there is 21 kids in the classroom, right? And this is how it always be. It doesn't matter if it's 50 students, 21 students, 20 students, 19 students, 2 students. It doesn't matter how many. But as soon as I walk in, I'm now a student just like the rest of them. All of a sudden, who the teacher's attention was directed to, as soon as I come into the building, they only focus on me. So it's like anybody can be a jerk to me, anybody can push me, do this, and the teacher would just look past it, basically, just like, hey, don't do that, don't do that. But if I defend myself, she'd be like, both of y'all, go flip your card. Or they'd be like, you, Asher, go flip your card. It's always my entire life. It doesn't matter who the teacher is. Like, if many people were around me and we go to a classroom and it's 10 students and you and I walked in, the teacher would stop whoever directing their attention and only direct it on me. I promise you, I cannot make this up. I'm just born here. I don't understand why I gotta be targeted. I've been targeted my entire life. I feel like Miss Harden has something against me. So every time I have to deal with Miss Harden, you know, I used to be clumsy. I used to trip over my own shoes, somehow trip over air. I was just clumsy. I had to flip the card because I was clumsy. She will find, like, every teacher that I went to, they always had to find ways to dislike me. And it would be new students. We'd be new students, and they just be like, and normally it takes 3 days. For me, it takes 3 days, and then after the third day, everybody starts showing their true colors. Everybody starts showing their true colors. That's why I'm so like independent. But I'm getting too overhead. But basically, that's how I dealt with at school. Miss Harden has something against me. Then I have to deal with students. Then I have to deal with home. So now on the weekends, we go to our auntie's house. Um, our auntie's house, TT. Well, she has a full name, but TT is short. You know, I know other people call their aunties Sugar Plum, Peaches, TT. You know, auntie's name, basically. So we went to TT house because we have our fourth cousin named I'm gonna call her Ti, but she's a girl. So all my cousins are girls. I'm the only boy in this. My grandma raised me. I've been around my cousins. Uh, and, the oldest T, uh, the third youngest M, and the fourth youngest is Ti. They're all girls. My auntie is a girl, TT, of course. So I basically been raised by women, been around girls. I had no male figure because of, you know, my dad wasn't a good dad. You know, don't be surprised on a black. I'm one of those who has a dad that's a player. My dad is a player. You know, I ain't nothing, no beat around the bushes. I just tell the truth how it is. So my dad is a player. Was a player then, still is. But he was a player back then, so he never really wanted his attention towards me. You know, he would say what he wants to say to get in my bubbles and stuff, and then go off, venture out, doing other stuff like that. That's how my dad was treating me. So I never had love for my dad. My auntie, TT, At then she was very mean. She was one of those aunties that cuss in every single syllable, every single sentence. You could find 6 cuss words in one sentence. She said, "Go do the dishes." She said, "Go do the mother dishes like I said you." And then she like those type of stuff. And she is like more of a. She basically she cares for people, but only if she can gain something. It's like I would be nice to you, unless I would be nice to you if you can provide me something. Basically, she is a good person, a cool person to strangers, a cool person to strangers, but to me she disliked me. So this is where it forms a late in the black sheep. So when I'm there, Titi, she doesn't like when other people touch her stuff. And the thing about it, there's times that I fall asleep. I sleep by myself, of course, while they all cuddling and having fun and stuff like that. There be times that, excuse me, they will touch Titi things. And remember how I said at Grandma's house, she'd be like, who the touch my stuff? Who did this and touch it? And everybody dumbfounded and be like, I don't know. I said I didn't do it. I was in the room the whole entire time. But then my cousin was like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Knowing good and well, if I was in the room, I know. It's like I know the truth to everything. But every time I know, and look, I know the truth. The thing, I would tell the truth, but they think I'm lying. They think I'm lying. Every time they lie to get out of trouble, and I see that, I lose respect for them. In a sense of like, bro, you a liar, man. Because I be telling them I didn't even do anything. But now, because she was like, oh, so one of y'all is lying. And if y'all don't tell who the truth is, I'm telling her, I didn't do anything. I didn't. Bro, I can be outside the entire day. You can literally be those 3 girls in there, but you will still find a way to blame me for something. But then she'll get on all of us. Now we're all on a punishment. Now we're all grounded. Now we all have to. And then for my TT, where she is one of them movies, there's no statistic about her. She is one of those that if you, in this situation that I just told you, what she would do is call someone. She would tell us to go in the back room. Well, I don't want to see your face and all that, blah, 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 but actually cussing about it though. Then she would go on the phone and talk to everybody in the community. When I say everybody in the community, I'm gonna just throw this out there. So, my grandma, her kids are my dad, Uncle W, Uncle B, and TT. That's grandma's kids. There's their 4 kids, so they are brothers and sisters. They have 3. My auntie has 3 brothers, and she's the only sister. So let's clear that up real quick. So what she would do, in TT had her own place with her daughter. She had her own place, stuff like that. They were like adults. They was in their 30s at this time. We were young. What she would do is if I get in trouble, or any of my cousins get in trouble, she always liked to talk. She always gossip. She always want to tell everybody about what we did wrong. Like in this situation, she would call my dad, she would call her mom, which is grandma, then she would call her friends, she would call everybody that we don't know or don't know, and just talk to everybody because we would hear her on the other side of the room. So she's her because it's a rectangular house, so I guess it's like a trailer basically. So she'll be on one end and we'd be at the other end because she's talking so loud and she's cussing and stuff like that. We hear her talking about it. She'll be like, yeah, and then I came into my kitchen while she's on the phone with someone, right? She's on the phone. But keep in mind, by the time she tells the story, she already told like 6 other people about this already. This is just the 6th person she's talking. She's been like this her entire life. We don't like making mistakes around her because she will always tell the community. And you want to know how we know? Because as soon as we go back to grandma's house or someone that we know comes around to say, oh yeah, so I heard you did this and that. Boom. Everybody that it comes across, everybody. That's how she was, and that's how she still is to this day. So you hear in the other part of the story. But right now, you will know every mistake that we do, she will always call everybody on her contact list. That's how my auntie was, and that's how she still is. But In this situation, she'd be like, yeah, we be just sitting there and be like, bro, I know I didn't do nothing. They over here talking about, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. No, good and well, they know I didn't do it. It's done. They just they're chickens. But they're the same ones that want to talk mess behind closed doors, but when it's confrontational, then they get quiet, then they get scared. But I digress. We hear TT in the room like, yeah, and M over here being a dumb, and she can't do anything right. Every time I tell her to do, she always be dumbfounded and talk about someone, and I gotta tell her, And my TT is very dramatic. She's very dramatic. If something like, oh, you spilled a juice on the counter. Yeah, she spilled juice on the counter, and she'll basically tell the story but be cussing about it, acting upset. And then what she would do is like the story has been told, right? Then she started adding other things necessary things that happened like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago. So she basically like, oh, I don't like how this person. She just, as she was saying like Misa. I keep saying her name, but she's like this and that and all these M.T. Asher, but they call me Michael, as they call me Michael and Michael, and they over here. They don't one of them touch my stuff, and they don't want to confess and all that talk about how you do it, and that's why M is such a dumb T is such a scared dumb. She can't even be a good leader to them. They always get in trouble. She can't protect them. She always do that. So she will humiliate us and defiles us worst way possible. So keep in mind the story already has been told what we did was wrong, but then she added other stuff just to add in the fuel to make us look bad and stuff. So when people come around us, they think that we only those things that she said on the phone, and that's what she did. In my case, when we get in trouble, she will always make sure that we look like the bad guy. She makes the I look like the bad guy. So she never gives us. So we do something, she quickly go on the phone and tell people what we did and how bad we are. She's already told the story, but tell us how bad we are. So people be like, I don't want to hear what you got to say because she or TT already said what, basically not giving us a chance. So say if we tell the truth, which is the truth at times. I tell the truth at times. They think we're lying. And that's how it always been at TT House. That's how it always been. She never liked to be bothered. She never liked to be bothered. She never loved us. It's only what she gained. This is what she liked to do. It's all about her. It was always about her. So we step in just how, and she smokes weed. Everybody up there smokes weed. We stayed with our TT on the weekends to be with our cousin Ti because she's the only child. I'm the only child, but she was the only child when up in here. And TT will always roll a joint before she went to bed. She rolls a joint throughout the day, but she always rolls a joint. We always see her at the table rolling the joint up and stuff before she go to bed on the weekends. What we did on the weekends, and then that's the only time she's nice is because she's high. Then she asks us, "Hey, can you give me some fruits? That fruits in the refrigerator? Can you give me this out of the refrigerator? Can you give me that?" And then we chill with her, and then she be nice only because she is intoxicated. She's high. That's the only way for her to be nice at that time is when she's high. But when she's sober, she defiles us. She like make us look like the bad guy every time. We basically have to walk around eggshells around her. Yeah. So that's how it was there. That's how it was. Now, there were some good days, but those good days quickly be ruined either by my cousins because I always used to run to my auntie and tell her that they keep bullying me and stuff like that. And then she'd be like, say my grandma does that too. She says the same things like, stop letting them be a pushover. Stop being a wimp. Stop being a wuss. Stop being this. Stop being that. You a boy. You're not supposed to be telling. You're not supposed to be snitching. All right. I ignore it. Once again, when I defend myself, you're not supposed to hit girls. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to talk back to them. You're not supposed to do that. You see, it's like those teeter-totter. You tell me to defend myself, and when I do, then I'm wrong for it. And that's how my auntie was. She was always, it's about her. She was, along with my other cousins growing up, because that's how they mimicked her. They mimicked my auntie, basically. They mimicked her. And it's just like, I only want your stuff, but I'm not going to give you my stuff. They're selfish, basically. They don't want to give their stuff away unless there is a trade. There's never mutual. There's never generosity or anything. I like to give. I used to always love them even when they didn't love me. I always loved them when they always bullied me. I was always the scapegoat because even at my TT house, I always had to get in trouble. I always had to get yelled at. She would always talk bad, even worse about me than they would talk bad about her, but not as bad as she talks about me. Now, this is my truth because in other parts it's gonna, in other parts it's gonna get good, but this is what how the house and the toxicity always became about. Always, it got worse at grandma's and even got worse in TT's. So it was just in this part, it was nothing but toxicity. All it showed that they cared about themselves. Like I, and you might say, well, they have jobs and stuff. No, in emotional standpoint, we all know the definition of what family is. We all know that ain't no bills, no nothing. It's like the love connection. Because you can still pay bills and stuff and still be negative. You can still love them and still pay bills. Paying the bills should not change your characteristics in any kind of way. It's all about love, you know. But I will put some more in part 3. So this is where I'm going to end it off at because I only got a certain amount of time on there. So bye.